Horn Lake High School. We are down here on the A Hall with Coach Nails to talk a little bit about the news cycle that's been going crazy about the baseball cheating scandal. Now, here's the problem. Baseball is America's pastime. It is the game of our country. However, a lot of the later or the current generations are not into baseball as heavily as we once were, which means that a lot of us, I'm going to go out on a limb and say 95% of Americans don't understand all of the rules involved. And when it comes to the signs and the stealing signs, there's things you can do and there's things you can't do. So will you explain to us what has happened with the Houston Astros and why it's such a big deal?
All right. Everyone steals signs, 100%. If you see a guy at second base holding hands, leaning body, they're stealing signs. Keep guys in the dugout, keep the charts, they're stealing signs. Problem is they use technology, camera in center field. They tried to be smart with it, which kudos to them. They got caught. Camera in center field was relaying to the instant replay booth. Guy in the booth was watching it, sent it to the dugout, and then they relayed it there. No problem stealing signs until you break the rule with using technology. That's where the issue was.
Okay, so since the 1800s, people have been stealing signs in baseball. Start small for all of us who don't understand. When you're stealing a sign, what are you essentially trying to do?
Try to figure out what pitch is coming. Try to figure out if you can catch the third base coach sign and they're fixing to hit and run, they're going to steal, they're going to bunt.
So if you know what pitch is being thrown, you can adjust as a batter and hit it.
Light. You know it's fastball, you set green light, try to hit it out of the ballpark.
Okay. So how are the legal ways to be stealing? How will people notice that a certain how do you steal the sign in the first place? You just by repetition?
You got to get, like, if you normally waits till you get a runner on second, you go to the catcher series. So there's a series. Everybody does it different. We changed it all the time. You get fastball, breaking ball, whatever his sequence is. Once you figure that, then you start relaying it by jersey grab, helmet grab, things of that nature. And once you figure out they got it, you change them up, you run one in somebody's ear, and that normally fixes it. Okay, so how is Houston utilizing technology to try to cheat? They set a camera up in center field, zoomed it in on the catcher sequences, and then would relay it back to the hitters by banging on a trash can, a whistle. I even seen one report up too, they had a buzzer in his jersey. So it would go off, home run or fastball would buzz, he noticed it green red. It's kind of far-fetched, I don't know, but when he hit the walk-off against Chapman, he didn't want his jersey ripped off. And I remember the pitch, I was talking to Coach Blaylock at the time through text. When he hit it, I said, dude, he sat on that like he knew it was coming. So it makes sense that he would have had that, but that's far-fetched. That's really going out there.
Are other teams probably utilizing and cheating, they just haven't gotten caught?
There's 32 teams are doing it.
I mean, we got caught, but we still in trial. Boston Red Sox, but that's another story for another time.
That's why Mookie left.
Mookie didn't want to be there. If you go back on ESPN, what is his name? Oh, he used to be the third base coach for the Giants when they won the World Series with Botch. He has a really good article on ESPN. They talk about even in the 80s and 90s when he was playing, they had a guy video camera the third base coach from the stands to go through and get his hit and run sign, his steal sign, and all that, so they knew what was going on during the game. And when you get somebody's signs, it's really fun to mess with them because you can go through the series and you can give them like your steal sign, their steal sign when you're hitting, and it's kind of like, hey, I got your stuff. So it becomes a cat and mouse. It can get fun. We used to do it all the time in college. In college, the guy that started on Friday night would sit in the dugout on Saturday and watch the pitching coach go through their sign sequence and chart everything. By the fifth inning, you got them. So you get half the game, you got the signs the rest of the game, and you just sit dead red on whatever they got.